Today, addHR will cover some of the recent day-to-day issues that employers encounter with staff and give you some valuable pointers to hopefully stop any pitfalls. Often in a contract of employment, you see that an employee is on a probation period of 3 months and is on 1 week's notice during this period. So the 3-month period comes to an end, but due to busy managers, poor administration and work pressures, the end of probationary meeting doesn't take place. And some 2 weeks or so later, an employer will say that the employee isn't meeting the standards and needs to go. From the employer's perspective, they think the employee is still on probation and therefore under the probationary notice period. From the employee's perspective, they hadn't heard anything to the contrary and therefore assumed that they had passed their probation. Obviously, a business wants to minimise risk and additional cost. So again, carefully worded contracts explaining precisely what the notice periods are and the end of probation process, in addition to making sure that the probationary meeting actually takes place well within the 3 months, can lead to eliminating unnecessary additional costs around notice periods. I've been called in recently to a number of clients where they have been unwittingly interlinking grievances, investigations and disciplinaries. They often get into a muddle and then trip up on process. Whilst these issues may well end up by being connected, these processes should be handled separately. Investigation meetings are neutral, and you cannot use an investigation meeting as a disciplinary meeting. After the investigation meeting, you need to follow the invite to disciplinary meeting procedures. A complex area, and I would advise seeking assistance from an HR specialist in this instance. Self-employed status is on the rise. However, this still proves to be a problematic area for businesses. And whilst they are more savvy to the fact they need a self-employed agreement for a contractor, it would be the relationship itself between the business and the worker that would be looked at if came to the test, rather than just relying on the document. This would be things like control of working hours, duties, equipment, and are they treated like an employee? So again, of course, make sure you put that self-employed agreement into place, but also be sure that you are practicing what you've actually stipulated in the contract. As always with employment law, be cautious that a burden of proof rests with the employer. That's all we have time to cover today. In the spring, I'll be looking at the employment law changes, items like gender pay gap reporting, the apprenticeship levy, changes to salary sacrifice schemes, and extensions to the protected characteristics. So, make sure you connect with addHR again in the spring, if not before. Bye for now.